What's up, everyone? Welcome to Power Play with CJ. I am watching the Colorado Minnesota game today. I was taken aback at just how well Erik Johnson played. And I said a few times during the season, he really has had a very good year for Colorado as their number one defenseman. 39 points plus five. Really doing, all the little things out there. Showing why he was the number one overall pick. Now it's tough judging Erik Johnson without keeping in mind he's the number one overall pick is one of the harder things to do in hockey because you look at the guys who's taken ahead of obviously Jonathan Toews, Phil Kessel, Nick Backstrom, some really really elite players, and you look at what he's done and it really doesn't compare. I mean the trade from St. Louis to Colorado, St. Louis won that trade. I mean getting Kevin Shattenkirk, and then they even got the second round pick back for. Trying to be Ty Ratty, who's one of the St. Louis Blues top prospects. So it's you got to look at it from both ends of the spectrum here. But I like what he's done this season. I think if he wasn't, then going number one in the draft was the worst thing to happen for his career because you can't look at him objectively as a solid defenseman. You got to look at him as a guy who went number one in the draft, and that's really not fair to him. And I think, again, I believe, I know you can make the argument on Fowler, but he's the only American that was the number one defenseman on a playoff team this year. And, that speaks volumes about how well he's played and how important he's been to Colorado having the resurgence that they've had. And quite frankly, I thought he should be on the U.S. Olympic team. I said that a couple months before the Olympics. I said that right before the Olympics, that this guy can play. I mean, he can do a lot of different things. He's kind of a jack of all trades. And had he not gone number one in the draft, you'd look at him completely different. You would look at him as a defender like, wow, this guy's pretty good. And I think that that's just the nature of the beast. But I think if you put that aside and just enjoy Erik Johnson for what he is as a defenseman, 26 years old, really just starting to come into his own, I think he'd be a perennial 45, 50 point, play 25 plus minutes a night going forward. And I like what he's doing. And I think you have to be objective about what he is as a player and not keep in mind that he was number one overall pick and ahead of guys like Toews and Kessel and really world class Olympians and in Toews' case 2-time Stanley Cup champion. But I think just looking at him for his play, let that speak for itself. It's easier to understand. I mean, it's the guy who really I don't think has been plus in a season since he was a 21-year-old second-year player with the Blues back in 2009, 2010. And, the other thing was tearing his ACL and missing the entire 2008-2009 season as a 20-year-old player. That really hurt his development, and I know that's where, 5-6 years later, but still, it's it's a tough pill to swallow. It did hurt him, for obviously just physically, but in terms of how he developed as a player. And I think if you can put all that behind him, put the pressure being the number one overall pick behind him, and just play hockey. And I think a lot of that this season's a testament to Patrick Roy's coaching, because this is a guy that had 4 assists in 31 games last year, and this year has been Colorado's best and most consistent defenseman with 39 points, and led them in scoring by. Tyson Barrie's a point behind him and played less games and probably would have outscored had he played the full 80 games. But you catch my drift. And I think, again, because Nathan McKinnon, they asked him about playing for a while, and he said, just lets me go out and play. He doesn't hammer me and just lets me play my game. And that's been big on McKinnon being one of the most spectacular rookies in recent memory. And I think it's the same idea with Johnson. Just play your game, and you'll be good. Anyway, that's what I got this episode of the Power Play with CJ on Erik Johnson. Why you got to look at him a little bit differently. Stay tuned for episodes throughout the season, the playoffs, and beyond. Later, guys.